we'll go ahead and get started today with our gentle yoga class. So feel free to find a comfortable seat, whatever that might look like for you. It could be a simple cross-leg seat. You can support yourself on a cushion if you have kind of a squishy surface, a pillow, or a blanket you can roll up and stick underneath you. Sometimes elevating the hips a little bit just helps to draw the spine nice and tall. So feel free to find your comfort place here as we get started. I'll invite you just to start to notice what parts of you are in touch with the earth, and that might be between layers of floor and foundation, that's okay. But allowing yourself just to sink some of that gravity and energy down. And you might allow yourself to cycle some breath here, even if it's just a simple hand movement. Maybe sweeping the hands around a little bit for an inhale. And with the exhale, just gently, kind of energetically pressing down. So finding kind of where your starting pace is. Today, allowing yourself to cycle the breath. And it may be that you can kind of achieve that mentality without a hand movement. So if the hands just gently settle in the lap, that's okay too. Allowing yourself just to start to melt down whatever might be kind of up or erratic, ecstatic, floating around, or getting up in your face. You can even kind of just energy bathe, sweeping hands just over from the crown of the head all the way down. Sort of clearing your own energy, your own field. There's a lot of kind of information going on, spinning around, floating through the airwaves. So we're just going to take a little bit of moment to attend to our space. As we focus on our well-being throughout this practice, just allowing ourselves to stay clear of the stressors as much as possible. Invite this to be a holy and healing space for ourselves and in our community. Maybe allowing yourself to gently tilt the top of the pelvis forward, lifting up through the crown of the head, so like we're being pulled by a little string up to the ceiling. Maybe the shoulders roll back and down here. You can even roll a few times if that feels good to you. Maybe gently settling those shoulder blades down the back and flatten. Helping the heads of the shoulders to stay back behind and the heart space to stay open. Maybe noticing as you attend to your posture here if that changes the movement of breath. Maybe you can allow the belly to soften a little bit more and expand low and deep with the inhale. Maybe the belly gently contracts back in with the exhale. So you can use the hands to help illustrate that for yourself, or the hands can stay soft. You choose. We can practice bringing that air not only through the low belly, but also up through the middle ribs and into the collarbones. If you'd like to sweep the hands all the way up, maybe taking a deep breath in. Maybe rising the hands up through the shoulders. With the exhale, perhaps gently flowing those hands back down, making sure that you take your time. Allow the breath to be slow and deep. And taking the whole length of the inhale and the exhale for that breath movement. And the arm movement with that breath. You might find yourself wanting or needing to slow down a little bit. If you feel a little bit tense this morning, you can on purpose slow yourself way down. Help that calming space and energy to come in. Maybe taking another round or two like this if you choose. Noticing if you can feel that breath filling up from the bottom to the top. And as we exhale, maybe releasing that breath from the top down to the bottom. Inviting one more breath here. Maybe the palms meet together this time, maybe stretching up through the crown of the head as we lift the fingers, keeping that lengthen through the spine with the exhale. Maybe those hands come down into the heart center instead. Here's a time that you might choose to bow the head a little bit, take the chin toward the chest. Creating a reverent space, you might invite an intention for your practice here today if you would like. Good. When you have your intention set, allowing that to kind of stay sealed in your heart and in your mind, I'll invite you to take an option here. You can extend the legs forward if you like, or maybe just reversing the cross of the legs. So whichever foot was in front the first time, just reversing which way you may be sitting. If there is a side to it, if you're kneeling, then you might stay. That's a pretty symmetrical shape. So choosing for yourself. We'll do a little bit of kind of breath and flow together. So starting with a deep breath in, 2 rounds of sun breath like we were just practicing. Inhale in to rise the arms like the sun. And set here with the exhale. 1 more round just like that. Good. Exhaling to flow down. We'll take the next round side to side. So deep breath in here. Exhaling, maybe the right hand comes to ground, lifting through the left arm with the exhale, leaning over to that right side. Deep breath in to find center here. Maybe the thumbs come to touch. With the exhale, left hand coming to ground, reaching through the right, and then tilting over with that exhale. Good. Deep breath in to center. Taking it to a twist here, right side twist. Left hand crosses over to the right knee. Right fingers can stay behind as a kickstand, taking the gaze all the way around the shoulder if you can. Good. Inhaling back up to center. And exhaling left side twist. So right hand this time crosses over to the knee, gaze comes around the body. With the inhale coming back up through center. Good. This time clasping the fingers together, lifting the palms up toward the sky. Inhale to the top. Exhaling, we're going to flip those palms back over, facing the heart, spreading the shoulder blades apart on the back with that exhale. Good. Lifting 1 more time, flipping those palms. Exhaling, we're going to open the hands up to hold a giant beach ball. So it's a little bit of a back bend here, keeping the heart lifted, the gaze high. 1 more breath in. Hands reaching up high. And exhaling, hands floating back down. So we'll do that whole sequence 2 more times, okay? Deep breath in when you're ready. Simple sun breath here. Inhaling to reach up. Exhaling to release. 1 more just like that. Exhaling as you're ready. Your pace does not have to match mine. Feel free to move in your own way and time. We'll add the side bends here. Starting with that full inhale to the top, maybe right side bend first. Leaning over with the exhale. Deep breath in to come back to center. Exhaling here, left side bend. Good. Deep breath to come up through the middle. Taking it to the right side twist with the exhale. Gaze comes around the shoulder. Keeping the spine long as you twist. Inhaling back to the middle when you're ready. Keeping this crown of head lifted and the spine long as you twist over to the left side. Inhaling back to the center here. Good. This time flipping the palms. Clasping the fingers, reaching up. With the exhale, flipping the palms toward the heart, stretching the shoulder blades across the back. Good. Flipping those palms 1 more time, rising up here. Full in breath, and then with the exhale, holding that giant beach ball. Letting the heart be open, the shoulders to relax down the back. Good. 1 more deep breath. Rising it up. And exhaling, hands gently coming back down. So 1 more time here. This time the challenge is to allow the breath to start the movement every time. So the inhale starts and the arms follow. 2 rounds of sun breath. So the exhale now starts and the arms follow. Only taking that movement once the breath has started to change the shape. Good. Allowing that breath to exhale. Arms following. Good. Taking it to that side bend. Keeping that in mind. The breath starts to move first. The arms follow here. With the exhale, right arm comes down, left arm reaches over. Breathing into center when you're ready. The breath starts the movement. Exhaling, left hand to ground, left side lean. Deep breath back into center. Exhaling into right side twist. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling into left side twist. Inhaling back to center. This time clasping the palms, lifting the hands high, shoulders stay down away from the ears. With the exhale, flipping the palms toward the heart, spreading the shoulder blades. Maybe dropping the shoulders a little bit further away from the ears here. Good. Flipping those palms with the inhale. Rising it back up perhaps. Good. Extending through the elbows. With the exhale, coming to hold the giant beach ball. Lifting the gaze. Opening the heart. One more breath in here. And exhaling. Ooh. We'll take it down. Maybe there's a little bit of a build up or heat coming into the shoulders. You might want to just roll them a little bit here. If you want to find any other stretches or movements, feel free to take those instead. Good. We'll come into a little bit of a seated forward fold. So this time extending the legs out in front if they aren't already. Pressing the heels away from yourself, flexing the toes back toward the face. You might find that you want to adjust the seat. If you're a little bit high up, you might get a little closer to the ground or vice versa. Nice deep breath in here, rising the arms if you like to, lifting through the crown of the head, finding that nice flat back, and allowing yourself to gently lean or fold forward any amount. If you do have sensitive, like low back, if you have any bulging discs or any issues there, I suggest keeping the back nice and flat, the heart lifted, and just leaning the whole upper body forward. If you want to round through the back and stretch a little bit more into the spine, you can gently walk those hands down the legs or toward the feet. Maybe allowing the head or the neck to get a little bit soft here if that feels good to you. Feel free to moderate. You don't have to go to your deepest depth or find the most intense shape that you can today. It's okay to just give yourself kind of just enough, that Goldilocks pose, the not too hot, not too cold. Somewhere in the middle that feels a tolerable, good stretch, a healthy stretch, without forcing the body to do anything it's not ready for. So I'll invite about 3 or 4 more breaths here. You feel free to adjust if you'd like to. You can come back to that flat back. Lessen the shape or deepen the shape depending on your needs today. Taking another breath or 2 here as you like. When you finish your last exhale, maybe allowing yourself to gently rise back up with that flat back once again. And exhaling, hands can come down to the floor. We'll go ahead and switch it up here toward hands and knees. Taking the feet around. If there's anything kind of on the mat, you can clear it. Or if you like to use a blanket or a towel to support underneath the knees, you can feel free to kind of fold one out. Give yourself that layer of cushion. Alternatively, if you have sensitive wrists or carpal tunnel issues, you can bend the mat back into a triple stack and cushion just the heels of your hands, allowing the fingers to kind of flow down to that lesser edge. So you might start just by shifting those hips a little bit side to side here, a little wag at the tail. Or if you like to, you can circle the pelvis, taking the tailbone around in a big circle or a little circle, depending on your range of motion today and your needs. Still allowing ourselves to stay attuned to where we are, not where we wish we were. Giving ourselves the grace to start in our place. If you are circling, you might take it the other direction. You can change up the movement if you're needing something else. You don't have to do what I do. Feel free to explore and expand your practice following your own inner teacher as well. Good. Maybe taking one or two more rounds here, finding our way back to center when you're ready. Inviting a little bit of cat-cow breath here. Inhaling to tilt the tailbone up and lift the gaze. Dropping the belly with the in-breath. With the exhale, drawing the navel up toward the spine, tucking the chin and the tailbone under, rounding the spine. Good. Inhaling to lift the tail and the gaze. Exhaling to round the back, tuck the chin and tail. Maybe taking 3 or 4 more rounds like this if you like it. And you can adjust the shape or change the movement if you need to. Allow yourself to find your own pace. Honoring the flow of the breath, still allowing the breath to lead the movement. Maybe finding one more round here if you like. Maybe allowing yourself to sit the hips back toward the heels, taking child's pose. That can be with the knees together. If you like a little bit more stretch there through the hip flexors, you can open those knees a little bit wider. Releasing the chest either through the legs or toward the legs. Maybe the forehead comes toward the ground. Allowing yourself to settle into your breath here. Allow this shape to be a grounded shape. Noticing gravity is drawing you close to the earth. Maybe notice if there's any resistance in your muscles or skeleton. Anything that might be trying to resist being soft. Maybe noticing if it feels okay and safe to just relax a little bit deeper. Let go of some tension, soften a little bit more. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths in this shape here, inviting yourself just to go a little bit deeper and deeper into it. To finish the last exhale, perhaps, you are always welcome to stay with the shape if it feels really good and you just like more time there. If you want to rise up here, maybe coming back here toward hands and knees, inviting ourselves to come toward a cobra pose, hips moving down toward the floor a little bit, hands can be underneath the shoulders, or if you like a little bit kind of a lower shape, you can spread the hands out nice and wide here. Give yourself a little bit more space. If that doesn't feel good, feel free also to adjust by coming down to the forearms and propping yourself up on the elbows. That's the Sphinx pose. Kind of finding where you're comfortable. Maybe taking a little bit of a stretch into the low back here. Maybe lifting up through the heart. You can even take the gaze high. Maybe taking one more breath or so here if you like. With an exhale, maybe releasing the chest all the way down to the ground. Inviting the hands to come directly underneath the shoulders. Rolling those shoulders onto the back. And then lifting up just with the heart for the low cobra pose. So there's a little bit of support in the hands here. You can also challenge yourself by lifting the hands off the mat. 1 centimeter or an inch or 2. Holding yourself up with the strength of the back. Maybe squeezing those shoulder blades toward each other a little bit more. 1 or 2 more breaths here as you choose. Feeling free to relax back down with an exhale. Maybe allow the arms to just gently come by the sides and the whole body to find softness here. Notice if there's tension or resistance that you can soften. Inviting all your energy to come back down to ground. One more deep breath here. Very good. Allowing ourselves to maybe bring the palms back underneath the shoulders. Rising back up, but coming here this time to a plank pose. So the hips are going to be lower in line with the shoulders and the knees. If you like to be up on the toes as well and bringing the full body into this practice, you can draw yourself up onto the toes, but keeping the tailbone tucked under nice and firm so the booty isn't a little bit too high. It's not sagging too low. There's no pressure in the low back. We're nice and even here. And again, you can kind of drop to even one knee at a time or both knees together if you need a little bit less. But keeping that intention in your core body. Strength through the abdomen, through the glutes, stabilizer muscles in the legs. As well as keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. We're really pushing the ground away. We're lifting ourselves out of the ground. Maybe one or two more breaths here if you choose. Feeling free to come to break in child's pose if you wish to, or if you'd like to send it back toward a downward facing dog, lifting the hips high. Maybe walking those heels underneath you a little bit more, stretching those heels to the floor. You can pedal the knees, or walk the dog as we might say. From our downward dog shape, you can also press the heels back toward the floor, press the heart through the arms toward the ground, and allow the head and neck to be soft here. Noticing if there's enough pressure there in the fingertips. If there's too much stress on the wrists or the palms, we can cause ourselves some strain there, so we want to transfer some of that weight into the fingertips themselves. Allow the hands to support us. Good. Inviting a little bit of a flow here, taking a breath in to drop the knees back to table pose. Exhaling, pressing it back here toward child's pose. Deep breath in, coming back to the table shape, maybe tucking those toes under. Exhaling, perhaps sending it back here toward downward facing dog. Inhaling forward, maybe we would take it to a plank, gently dropping the knees. Exhaling to press back, child's pose. Inhaling to come forward, tucking the toes. And exhaling, pressing back, downward dog. Inviting another 2 or 3 rounds here if you like. Inhaling forward to plank or table, dropping the knees. Exhaling back, child's pose. Inhaling forward to table or plank. Tucking the toes, pressing back, downward dog. Good. Inhaling forward, perhaps, plank pose or table. Dropping the knees, child's pose with the exhale. Inhaling to come forward again. Tucking the toes, exhaling to press back, down dog. Maybe taking one more round if you like it. Inhaling to table pose or plank. Exhaling back to child's pose. Inhaling to come forward. Back to the knees and exhaling back to downward facing dog. From here, if you like to, again, you can pedal through the feet or you can take a little bit of a 3-leg dog lift. So an inhale, maybe rising the right toes first and exhaling to place them down. Inhaling maybe the left toes this time and exhaling to place them down. If you're need a little bit of a break in those arms, feel free to drop back down into child's pose. Offering a little bit more intensity here, a little bit more challenge. You don't have to take it. It's just an invitation. If you're on those 3-leg dog lifts, maybe one more time for each side. Even if you're just getting the foot off the ground a couple inches. Still concentrating that strength and intention and giving yourself a lot of good benefit there. Good. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and shift ourselves towards standing. So you can walk those feet toward the hands a little step at a time. Or you can ground the knees and take one step forward, bracing yourself, hands on the knee to lift with support. Whew. All right, nice little workout there.
Okay. Last one. There we go.
So from here, we'll draw ourselves all the way up into standing. So if you're kind of in that forward fold place, go ahead and come all the way up into your lift. We'll go ahead and take it into mountain pose, maybe spreading those toes nice and wide, feet about hip width distance here. Maybe rolling the shoulders back and down and extending the arms low and out by the sides. Good, allowing ourselves just to take some time to notice where there may be some energy, some fatigue perhaps after that flow. Noticing what is present here in our bodies. Maybe breathing a little bit more of that life force and energy into the places we need it most. For myself right now, that's my forearms. So anywhere that you notice either a deep stretch or a lot of work going on, imagining that the muscles are the lungs. Working to expand and fill that space with life force at all possible times. We'll take a little bit more strength into our mountain pose if you wish to, noticing a lift in the arches of both feet. A little lift into the kneecaps, drawing the calf muscles in and the shin muscles toward the bones. Tucking the tailbone under, giving ourselves some strength up into the quadriceps and hamstrings. Navel can come in toward the spine here. Again, rolling those shoulders back and down or just drawing them a little bit further away from the ears. Maybe the palms are expressive and the fingers wide. Option to lift through the crown of the head just a little bit higher, finding your full height. Good, beautiful, expressive mountain pose. If you want to add a little balance challenge to it, you might lift off the heels and come up onto the balls of the feet or the toes. Could be a little or a lot. You might rise and hold, or the balance might just be enough to kind of lift and lower. Either way is fine, or just staying flat on the feet is also a great grounded practice, a great way to build the strength. Just asking all of those muscles to come online and be ready for us. So if you notice anything else kind of slack or spaghetti, kind of loose and wobbly, go ahead and allow that kind of inner intention to wrap all the muscles in toward the bones. And then every time we're in a standing shape, we're just continuing to remind ourselves of all of these little cues, keeping that strength, strong foundation and core body. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit of standing flow here. Deep breath in when you're ready to rise the arms up. You can take a little back bend if you wish to here. With the exhale, coming forward and down into a fold. You can go all the way forward, releasing the upper body down, or if you need a little bit less, you can stop halfway, putting the elbows on the knees. With the next inhale, gently placing hands on the shins of the knees, rising about halfway. It's a half lift. With the exhale, again, folding down to your own depth, any depth of fold here. The in-breath, bending into the knees a little, lifting the heart and the gaze, rising all the way up to standing. Again, maybe taking a little bit of a back bend there at the top. And exhaling, hands coming into center. Good. So deep breath in when you're ready. We'll do that same thing a few more times. Lifting with the breath, maybe taking back bend. Exhaling to come forward and down here into fold. Deep breath to rise, halfway lift. Exhaling into any depth of fold here. Bending the knees, lifting the heart, rising to standing. Deep breath all the way up. Exhaling, hands coming into center. We'll give it one more round or so. Filling up with breath as we reach high. Exhaling to come forward and down. Inhaling to rise, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Deep breath in to come to standing here. Back bend option at the top. Exhaling, hands coming into center. Good. Modifying that flow a little bit. We'll start the same. Deep breath sweeping high. Back bend option. Exhaling to come forward and down into your fold. This time we're going to add a little bit of pyramid pose. So inviting you to step the left foot back, maybe 20, 24 inches or so. Hands can stay stable in front of you, or you can grab Some supports if you need to, blocks, bricks, or books. Give ourselves a little bit of time to stretch into this shape here. If you want or need to bend the right knee to soften that shape, feel free to do so. We'll work gently over time to lengthen that right leg, but it doesn't have to happen all at once. Noticing if you can challenge yourself to draw the left hip a little further forward and press the right hip a little bit back. You might notice that changes the stretch for you. Then breathing into it, finding those tight places and filling them with air, filling them with your life force. Maybe allowing the head and neck to be a little bit softer here if you can. Good. From this shape, inviting a bigger step back, taking the left foot all the way back and bringing it in toward lunge. So I'm up on the right foot, knee stacked directly over the ankle. You can stay up on the left toes here, or you can drop to the knee, either way. Same benefits of the shape. And again, just taking a little bit of time to breathe into our lunge, whatever level you're at. You can even take a few breaths in one phase and then maybe move to another phase. Just giving yourself whatever it is that you need, no competition, no expectation. Taking another breath or two here if you choose. Finding an exhale, perhaps sending the hips back, stretching the right leg as straight as we can here, and maybe flexing those right toes back toward the face. This is our runner stretch or a half split. You can notice the same thing as in pyramid pose, drawing that left hip a little bit forward, right hip a little bit back. Helps to really accentuate that stretch through the outer sides of the hamstring, maybe getting into the IT band there for yourself. Giving yourself a few breaths, some time to feel the stretch and to fuel it with life, with energy and with breath. Maybe giving it one more full inhale and full exhale. Maybe gently walking the hands forward, coming back to the lunge shape here. Good. An option to bring both hands inside the right knee. Come to tuck on the left toe and turn yourself in toward a side lunge. So the bend stays in the right knee. You can stay kind of upward in the shape with the foot flat on the ground here. Or if you like to sink it a little bit deeper, you can pop onto the ball of the right foot, melt those hips down a little bit and bring those left toes back toward the face. So you choose kind of what you like, where you like to be just for right now. Again, giving it 3 to 5 breaths depending on kind of your pace and timing here. One breath at a time. Not worried about the next breath or the one that has just passed. Allowing yourself to be centered and present with this moment, here and now. Maybe finding a next inhale to walk those hands back around toward that right foot. Come back onto the left toes, perhaps. Stepping that left foot again close to the right foot. Rising here to a halfway lift. Really extending through the hamstrings here, lifting the tailbone nice and high. Reaching the crown of the head away from the tail. So we're extending the spine nice and long. A few breaths here in our half lift. Maybe noticing if you can drop the shoulders away from the ears just a little bit more here. Good. Finding an exhale, maybe coming to melt all the way down into your fold. This time we'll take a nice slow roll to standing, maybe bending into the knees here. Tilting the tailbone underneath you and then stacking one vertebra at a time on the one before. The chin can stay heavy on the chest till the last moment, even helping us to unroll and unravel the vertebrae in the neck. Very nice. We'll go ahead and take it to the second side here. When you're feeling ready, switch to this side. Deep breath in to sweep the hands high. Taking that back bend option if you like. Exhaling to come into your forward fold. Good. This time the right foot takes the step back toward pyramid pose. So again, rotating the right hip a little forward, the left hip a little bit back. You can soften into the left knee here if you wish to, working on lengthening it over time. Also checking in with the balance here. If the feet are more or less kind of in line, that's going to be a lot more of a balance challenge. So if you need to stabilize, feel free to step the feet a little bit wider, more like train tracks than a balance beam. And you might find that that gives you some either difference in your stretch or a more sense of control there in the shape. So that's one thing you can play with. Giving yourself time to feel the breath deeply through the shape. Keep that forward rotation of the right hip. Maybe softening the head if you can and wish to. Good. From here, we'll go ahead and step that right foot a little further back, coming toward lunge. So you can choose, again, upward on the toe, down on the knee, some combination of the two if you choose. 5 or 6 breaths here for the shape in total. Giving yourself whatever you need in this time. Making it feel right for you. Maybe extending through the crown of the head a little bit more, dropping the shoulders away from the ears here. Good. If you would like to, go ahead and drop the right knee. Maybe send the hips back and extending through that left leg for the half split here on the second side. So hands can stay supporting here. Maybe those left toes flex back toward the face. You might notice a lot more stretch there in the hamstring or the calf muscle. With that action, you can even gently place hands on those toes just to help you remind you of that stretch. And giving it a few breaths to just be in this place with your body, noticing if there's areas that are lighting up or feeling the stretch here. Again, fueling those places with life force, breathing directly into those places. Taking another breath or two here, perhaps, if you like. Finding an inhale to gently walk yourself forward again toward the lunge. Again, maybe tucking the right toes this time and walking both hands into the center. Coming to take side lunge here. Again, that can be with the feet flat on the floor, or if you want to sink a little bit deeper, popping onto the left toe, flexing the right toes back toward the face. There's no wrong way, just noticing what feels better to you in the moment. There's always another option to change it up or pick something different next time. Allowing your deep breath to cycle through the body. Feeling yourself where you need it most. Maybe taking one more breath or so here if you choose. Allow yourself to gently start to walk those hands back toward the left foot when you're ready. Good. We'll take it here towards standing. Right foot comes forward to meet the left. Rising up here into our halfway lift. So taking intention to find a nice flat back. Shoulder blades drawing toward each other, toward the spine. So the heart is nice and open. Heads of the shoulders away from the ears. Tailbone nice and high and extending just a little bit deeper through those hamstrings. Lifting through the crown of the head to send the energy forward as well. And breathing through the whole shape. Maybe taking 1 or 2 more breaths if you like. When you feel ready to release yourself down into fold, taking an exhale to travel down. When you're ready to roll it back up, allowing yourself to take the in-breath to bend the knees, tilt the tailbone under, and rise gently 1 vertebra at a time, all the way to standing. Very nice. We'll go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of balance here today as well. So moving toward a tree pose, if you have furniture nearby or a wall that you'd like to hold on to just for a little bit of support, even if it's just 1 finger, feel free to do so. If you feel good about kind of being an island of balance, that's also an option. So we'll start here by grounding through the right leg, just like in our setup for mountain pose where the whole body is strong. You might even just give yourself a moment to kind of key into that mountain pose, wrapping all the muscles in toward the bones, and then shifting the weight into the right foot. Starting to drop onto the left ball of the foot and turning the left knee out to the side. Hands can stay by the sides, or you can even press the hands at heart center. Sometimes that feels like a better balance for some people. And then just gently taking some steps. Maybe the toes come in toward the ankle. Maybe you lift just barely the toes off the ground, or connect the foot to the calf. Or even if you're feeling extra bendy today, maybe the heel comes up very close to the groin. Edge of the foot pressing into the leg pressing into the foot, no matter how high it is. We want to create that kind of consistent action on the midline. If you're pressing on the knee joint itself, move the foot up or down, no pressing the knee. And giving yourself some time to breathe and be here. If you fall out of the shape, that's okay. If you want to grow your branches, that's okay. Maybe spreading the arms, spreading the hands open. Your tree can take any shape that it likes. Good. Allowing the deep breath to flow through the shape. Being conscious that you are giving yourself just enough challenge. There's a little bit of a wobble there, that's building strength. Coming to bring those hands back in toward center when you're ready. Still pressing the palms together to help the heart stay open, and then gently, with control, releasing that left leg down toward the ground. You can take a little bounce, wiggle, or shake here. Just kind of balance it back out. Strengthen one side of the body versus the other before we kind of get to asking that same of the left standing leg. So feel free to get loose, take as much time as you want here to shake it out, and then we'll come back approaching the same way from our mountain pose. So just reminding ourselves of grounding the feet but lifting the arches, keeping the calf muscles, upper leg muscles, and the core body all wrapped in tight, heart open. Hands expressive and reaching through the crown of the head. From that place, taking the energy into the left standing leg this time, starting to turn the right knee out to the side and coming up onto the ball of the right foot. Good. That might be the place that you stop, and that's totally cool. If you want to take any more challenge, maybe drawing the right foot in or even up to the ankle, keeping that knee rotated out so the hip can open. You might draw the foot into the calf, or you might draw that foot all the way up into the upper leg. Again, no pressing on the knee joint itself, but if the foot and the leg are connected, pressing them both into each other to maintain that energy on the midline. Hands at heart, perhaps, or growing your branches if you like to. Maybe your shape takes a little bit of a different shape this time on this side. Maybe it's the same. Trusting that you know what you need and you can give it to yourself. Maybe giving it 1 or 2 more breaths here. again, if you fall out, just come back to a place that feels like a safe depth. And when you're ready to release the shape, again, doing so with control, maybe bringing the hands in first, pressing the palms together to keep the heart open, and then gently and slowly releasing with control. When you arrive, go ahead and shake it, bounce it back out. Very nice. This has been a kind of multivariate practice. We've hit a lot of different spots today. So go ahead and maybe just allow yourself another sweeping breath if you like to. Hands maybe coming up, maybe coming together. Take a little back bend if you like it. Maybe exhaling down into your forward fold. We're just going to work our way back down to the floor here. If you want to hang out in your forward fold a little bit, feel free to do so. You can even make it a strong forward fold, maybe wrapping the hands to the back of the ankles or the calves. You can step on the palms with the hands as well. Give yourself that level of fold. You can also just take the peace fingers, which is the first two pointer fingers on both hands, wrap them around the big toes, and use the strength of the arms to draw the upper body down. Or you might just choose to stay soft. Allow gravity to do the work. That's a-okay. You can feel free to hold that fold, hold the fold as long as you wish to. That's funny. If you want to start working your way back down to the ground, you might take it here to a downward facing dog, or you might just drop the knees down one at a time. We'll go ahead and transition to the seat anytime you are ready to arrive, but again, take your time, go slow, take any stretches kind of in the intermediate space that you might need here. And invite ourselves into a little bit of a knee hug, starting by lifting up through the crown of the head, shoulders down away from the ears as well, and then wrapping ourselves up, kind of arms or hands around the knees to help create as flat a back as we can. Nice deep breath here, a couple more breaths. And then allowing ourselves to kind of keep this strong intention through the core body. Notice that we can transfer some of that strength into the abdomen, the hip flexors, maybe releasing the arms but keeping the back just as flat. And then if you'd like to, take a strong roll down, starting to tilt the low back toward the floor, maybe rolling one vertebra at a time, nice and slow. Chin can stay toward the chest here for some core support. See if you can roll yourself smoothly down one vertebra at a time, even taking time with the back of the neck. Good. Maybe when you arrive, you can shift those knees a little bit side to side, if that feels good. You might draw the knees up into the chest as well, maybe taking a wrap or a hug on the knees. You can shift side to side from here too. Maybe taking a little bit more massage for the spine that way. You might just stay in center, hugging those knees in and giving yourself some love. Good. An option to come to find some reclined twist here. So you can choose if you want to take both knees to one side together, or if you prefer to do one knee at a time. We'll start perhaps by either bringing both knees into the chest or releasing just the left leg long and keeping the hold on the right knee here. And then when you're ready to take it into twist, crossing one or both knees over to the left side, maybe extending the right arm out behind you from the shoulder. Maybe you follow the gaze over toward that right hand if you like. And then allow yourself just to melt into the shape as much as possible, letting gravity do the work. Giving away the strength as much as you can, especially through the hip and the thigh. If there's any splinting, notice if it can soften. Giving yourself some deep, full breaths here. Maybe lengthening or emphasizing the exhale. Signaling to the body that we're going to take it down and find calm. Maybe taking time for 2 or 3 more breaths here if you like. Maybe noticing the last breath you choose here can be the best breath of all. When you're ready to come back to center, finding an inhale, rotating both knees up or one knee here, depending on your shape. Maybe drawing one or both knees back into the chest. Or if it's just the right knee, you might join it with the left knee here. You can find some movements, maybe again a little rock side to side, or some stillness if that feels good, just wrapping those knees into the core body. Preparing ourselves here for the second side, so you might find both knees coming over together, or this time you might extend the right leg, keeping a hold on the left knee, and drawing one or both knees over to the right side this time. Again, here maybe the left arm extends out from the shoulder, taking the gaze over toward the left hand. Nice deep breath into the shape. And again, allowing yourself to start to melt any resistance, any splinting, any tension. Maybe checking in with the leg and hip. Maybe the hands and feet can be softer. If there's tension in the face or the jaw, you might allow that to let go. Taking a peaceful space for yourself, quietly bringing in a few breaths, maybe deepening or lengthening the exhale a little bit more every time. Maybe coming to find one more breath or so in this space. When you're ready to come back to center, finding an inhale to gently lift back. One or both knees coming into the chest perhaps. Maybe giving yourself one more hug. Both knees together. Feeling free to take any other stretches, shapes, or movements that you want to include today in your practice. Or if you're feeling ready to just release the feet to the floor and the legs long down the mat, feel free to start that process, transitioning to Shavasana or final relaxation. Maybe allowing the arms just to settle down by the sides, backs of the hands to the floor, and the fingers can gently curl toward the palms. Maybe lengthening the back of the neck just a little bit more. You can even gently lift from the back of the head, taking the chin toward the chest. Then gently releasing the back of the head again to the floor. You can choose to cover with a blanket if that feels cozy. You might allow yourself any other supports that you might need to feel good and safe here. Could be a bolster under the knees, a pillow or a blanket, some bean bags or rice bags on the hands perhaps, just to weigh yourself down and give yourself back to ground. Just taking the next couple of minutes here to sink yourself into the floor. Start to kind of retract your senses, noticing more about what's going on inside of you. So even as we keep the body still, the breath is gently moving, gently flowing. Notice if you can surrender yourself to a positive visual, maybe just gently riding the breath up and down. Maybe you picture yourself floating on a warm ocean, gently rising and falling with the waves. Allow yourself kind of whatever happy place you'd like to bring in right now. Allow yourself to go somewhere beautiful or somewhere special. Enjoying this time to just be present with your breath a couple more minutes. Yourself to gently start to become aware again of the body and the breath together. Maybe noticing the space around you, or the temperature of the air, touch of fabric or the mat. Maybe gently start to bring yourself back slowly and gently. Could be with wiggles of the fingers and toes. If you feel good about staying soft and grounded, feel free to just stay in stillness as long as you wish. You might gently make the bigger movements if you wish to come back to a seated shape for the end of class. You can maybe bring the knees into the chest again for another hug. Maybe gently roll to one side. And take a pause. Maybe gently pressing yourself back up to seated when you feel ready. Maybe coming to bring the hands back into heart center. Perhaps reminding yourself of your intention for this practice or any new intention that might feel more important at this time. We'll give these intentions some voice and vibration. Closing our class with a chant of 3 Om. If you wish to join in, you're welcome to. If you want to just receive, feel free. Starting with a deep breath. Honoring the light, the love, and the divine in each of you. With this return to the light, allowing ourselves to be bright and brilliant and shine our light and our love in the whole world. Namaste.
Namaste.